Do you know that? Middle ear infections, called otitis media, occur commonly in children. The reason is simple: the size and position of the eustachian tube. In children, the eustachian tube is fairly short and horizontal. This short, straight passageway to the nasopharynx allows drainage from the nose to flow easily into the middle ear, spreading infection. As a child grows, the eustachian tube lengthens and slants downward, making the drainage of secretions into the ear and resultant infection less likely. Ears provide the sense of hearing. They're also essential for balance or equilibrium. The ear has three sections: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer or external ear consists of the auricle or pinna and the auditory canal. The auricle is the visible part of the ear, shaped by cartilage. This part of the ear funnels sound into the auditory canal. Middle ear consists of malleus or hammer, incus or anvil, and stapes or stirrup, tympanic membrane or eardrum, and eustachian tube. Inner ear consists of semicircular canals, cochlea, vestibular nerve, and cochlea nerve. The auditory canal leads through the temporal bone to the eardrum. The opening of the auditory canal to the outside of the body is called the external acoustic meatus. Glands lining the canal produce secretions that mix with dead skin cells to form cerumen or earwax. Cerumen waterproofs the canal and also traps dirt and bacteria. The cerumen usually dries and then, propelled by jaw movements during eating and talking, works its way out of the ear. Let's have some mnemonics to have easy remembrance. The pinna is the part of your ear that everybody can see. Use the pin part of the word as your mnemonic and imagine pins sticking into this part of your ear. A little blood makes the image that much more memorable. Moving to next mnemonic. Once sound waves enter your ear, they travel down your auditory canal. The image of empty cans connected together should help here. Now, let's move into detailed structure of middle ear. The middle ear consists of these structures: auditory ossicles, which are the three smallest bones in the body, connect the eardrum to the inner ear. They are named for their shape: malleus or hammer, incus or anvil, and stapes or stirrup. The stapes fits within the oval window of the vestibule, which is where the inner ear begins. Tympanic membrane or eardrum. This membranous structure separates the outer ear from the middle ear. It vibrates freely in response to sound waves. The auditory or eustachian tube is a passageway from the middle ear to the nasopharynx. Its purpose is to equalize pressure on both sides of the tympanic membrane. Unfortunately, it can also allow infection to spread from the throat to the middle ear. This is oval window. Now, moving to mnemonic. This is an easy one to remember because of drum, but the eardrum is also referred to as the tympanic membrane. So use the idea that a drum can create loud noises, which can cause some people to panic or hit the panic button. Moving to next mnemonic. Luckily, these are already pretty concrete images. It's important to remember that after sound hits the eardrum, the order is hammer, then anvil, then stirrup, or H, A, S, or M, I, S. If you call these three bones malleus, incus, and stapes. Now, let's discuss the inner ear in detail. The inner ear resides within a complicated system of passageways inside the temporal bone, which explains why this part of the ear is called the bony labyrinth. The membranous labyrinth lines the inside of the bony labyrinth. Fluid, called perilymph, cushions the space between the two labyrinths, and another fluid called endolymph occupies the inside of the membranous labyrinth. Three separate structures form the bony labyrinth. Semicircular canals. These structures are crucial for the maintenance of equilibrium and balance. Vestibule. This structure, which marks the entrance to the labyrinths, contains organs necessary for the sense of balance, and cochlea. This snail-like structure contains the structures for hearing. This is vestibular nerve. This is cochlear nerve. This is oval window. This is round window. The spirals of the cochlea are divided into 3 compartments. The middle compartment is a triangular duct, called the cochlear duct, filled with endolymph. The outer 2 compartments are filled with perilymph. Resting on the floor, called the basilar membrane of this duct, is the organ of Corti, the hearing sense organ. The organ of Corti consists of a layer of epithelium, composed of sensory and supporting cells. Thousands of hair cells project from this epithelial layer and are topped with a gelatin-like membrane called the tectorial membrane. Nerve fibers extending from the base of the hairs eventually form the cochlear nerve. This is basilar membrane. You can remember location of organ of Corti using a mnemonic. Corti, present inside the cochlea. Moving to next mnemonic. Cochlea is the snail-shaped part of the ear. The cock part of this word rhymes with Coke. So imagine Coca-Cola being poured into your ear. All that fluid collects inside your cochlea. Moving to next mnemonic. So running through the middle of your cochlea is basilar membrane with hairs on it. Use the bas part of basilar and imagine bass swimming up inside the middle of your cochlea. Moving to last mnemonic. There are tiny cilia or hairs all along the basilar membrane. These hairs move back and forth with the vibration of the fluid in the cochlea. To remember these hairs, imagine silly hair on top of the bass in your cochlea. Now let's discuss how hearing occurs. Well, hearing occurs when sound creates vibrations in the air, known as sound waves. In first step, sound waves enter the ear and travel down the external auditory canal. The waves strike the tympanic membrane, causing it to vibrate. In second step, the vibration spreads through the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. In third step, the movement of the stapes against the oval window shakes the perilymph on either side of the cochlear duct. In fourth step, the ripples in the perilymph are transmitted through the roof of the cochlear duct to the organ of Corti. Movement here stimulates the hairs of the organ of Corti to send nerve impulses along the cochlear nerve. The impulses reach the auditory cortex in the brain's temporal lobe, where it's interpreted as sound. In fifth step, the ripples continue through the perilymph and dissipate by striking the round window. Now let's discuss the auditory pathway after hair cell. The auditory pathway continuous with spiral ganglion, then cranial nerve, 8, then cochlear nuclei, then trapezoid body, then the superior olivary nucleus, then the lateral lemniscus, then inferior colliculus, and finally the medial geniculate nucleus. The information is decoded and integrated by each relay nucleus in the pathway, and finally projected to the transverse temporal gyrus. You can remember it using a mnemonic. Hungry, girl. 8, nothing. 2, slim, themselves. H, for hair cells. G, for spiral ganglion. A indicates for cranial nerve, 8. N, for cochlear nuclei. T, for trapezoid body. S, for superior olivary nucleus. L, for the lateral lemniscus. I, for inferior colliculus. M, for medial geniculate nucleus. T, for transverse temporal gyrus. So this was all about today's video. Stay tuned to sqadia.com for more precise and knowledge-stuffed videos.
Watch our medical videos anytime and anywhere. Download sqadia.com app now.